Alex Walker, a seasoned exobiologist, was no stranger to venturing into the unknown. Over the years, he had walked on alien worlds, studied strange creatures, and faced his share of dangers. But nothing could have prepared him for the mystery waiting on Aurora Prime, a planet nestled on the far reaches of Terran Alliance space. Aurora Prime was famous for its lush bioluminescent forests and crystalline cave systems. But what intrigued Alex most was a series of unusual energy signals emanating from Luminara Caverns, a sprawling labyrinth of tunnels and glowing formations. The signals had stumped his research station's sensors, and Alex, driven by his curiosity and perhaps a touch of recklessness, volunteered for the solo expedition. 3 days into his mission, Alex found himself deep within the caverns, where glowing crystals cast a soft, ethereal light. The air was thick with humidity, carrying the faint hum of unseen energy. As he navigated the labyrinth, Alex stumbled upon a chamber that took his breath away. A vast web-like structure spanned the room, its silvery threads glinting in the crystalline light. It shimmered like liquid starlight, each strand pulsating faintly as though alive. Intrigued, Alex stepped closer, his mind racing with possibilities. Was this a naturally occurring phenomenon, or the work of an intelligent species? But before he could take another step, the ground beneath him gave way. Alex fell, landing awkwardly amidst the web. He struggled to free himself, only to find the threads clinging to him with a strength that defied logic. "Well, this is fantastic," he muttered, his voice echoing in the chamber. "Stronger than steel and stickier than glue. Great." The faint sound of clicking interrupted his thoughts. It started as a distant rhythm, a tapping against stone, growing louder with each passing moment. Alex froze, his heart hammering in his chest. Something was coming. From the shadows, a figure emerged, a silhouette both graceful and imposing. As it stepped into the bioluminescent glow, Alex's breath caught. The creature was unlike anything he had ever seen. The upper half of the being resembled a human woman, her skin a silvery hue that shimmered like molten metal. Waves of fiery red hair framed a face that was both beautiful and alien, her large, multifaceted eyes glinting with intelligence. But it was her lower body that stole Alex's attention. It was that of an enormous spider, her 8 legs moving with eerie precision, each armored in biomechanical plating that gleamed in the dim light. She tilted her head, regarding him with an amused expression. "A human, all wrapped up like a gift," she said, her voice smooth yet carrying an unplaceable accent. "How thoughtful of you to visit." Alex's mouth went dry. His instincts screamed at him to flee, but the web held him fast. He tried to speak, but all that came out was a nervous croak. The creature smiled, a mixture of mischief and predatory charm. "Relax," she purred, stepping closer with fluid grace. "I'm Mia, and you've stumbled into my domain. But don't worry, I have no intention of eating you, yet." Alex's mind raced as he struggled to process the creature before him. Mia, as she called herself, exuded a presence that was both unnerving and captivating. Her multifaceted eyes glinted like polished gemstones, studying him with an intensity that sent shivers down his spine. Yet, despite her predatory appearance, there was no immediate sign of hostility. What do you want from me?" Alex finally managed, his voice shaky but steady enough to mask his growing panic. Mia's lips curved into a wry smile. "Such a direct question," she said, her tone laced with amusement. "Typical human. Always assuming danger when faced with the unknown." She stepped closer, and Alex instinctively leaned back, the web strands tightening around him. Mia paused, tilting her head as if considering something. "Interesting," she mused. "You're afraid, but your eyes," she gestured lightly. "They're curious. Fascinating creatures, you humans." Alex's scientist instincts kicked in, momentarily overriding his fear. "You know about humans?" he asked, his tone tinged with disbelief. Mia laughed, a melodic sound that echoed through the cavern like chimes. "Oh, I know far more about you than you might expect," she said. "Your kind has been on this planet for years now, studying, exploring, meddling. I've been watching." Her words sent a jolt through Alex. The idea of being observed, scrutinized like one of his own specimens, unsettled him. Why watch us? Why not approach openly? Mia's expression shifted, the humor fading as a more serious tone took over. "Because humans fear what they don't understand," she said softly. "And fear often leads to violence. My kind has learned to be cautious." Her gaze softened slightly as she studied Alex's face. "But you're different, aren't you? You don't just catalog and analyze, you marvel. You see beauty where others see threats." Alex blinked, caught off guard by her observation. I study life. It's my job to understand, not judge." Mia stepped closer again, this time more slowly, her movements deliberate. "And yet," she said, her voice dropping to a near whisper, "you fear me." Alex swallowed hard. "Fear and curiosity aren't mutually exclusive," he replied, his voice steadier now. Mia's smile returned, this time softer. "Perhaps you're not as different from my kind as I thought." As the tension between them shifted, Alex couldn't help but notice the intricate design of her biomechanical legs and the seamless integration of organic and synthetic elements. "Your body," he began cautiously. "It's incredible. Is it natural? Engineered?" Mia's eyes sparkled, clearly pleased by his intrigue. "Both," she replied. "We evolved alongside our technology, each adapting to complement the other. It's what allows us to thrive in environments like this." Alex nodded, his scientific curiosity fully engaged now. "And this web? It's stronger than anything I've encountered. What's it made of?" Mia's expression turned playful again. "Ask the right questions, and perhaps I'll share my secrets," she teased. "But for now, let's focus on you, Alex Walker. Why are you here, wandering alone into places you barely understand?" Her question brought him back to the present. "I'm a xenobiologist," he explained. "Our station detected unusual energy readings from these caverns. I volunteered to investigate." Mia arched an eyebrow. "Unusual energy readings, you say? Did it not occur to you that those might belong to something or someone intentionally avoiding detection?" Alex hesitated. "I didn't think." "No," she interrupted, her tone light but pointed. "You didn't. Typical human recklessness." Despite her chiding, there was no malice in her words. Instead, she seemed amused, intrigued even. Alex couldn't decide whether that made her more or less intimidating. "So," Mia said, her voice shifting to a more curious tone, "what do you plan to do now, Alex? You're caught in my web, quite literally. Do you intend to study me? Or are you just hoping to survive this encounter?" The question hung in the air, and Alex realized he didn't have an answer. For the first time in his career, he wasn't the one in control, observing from a safe distance. Here, in Mia's domain, he was the subject. And yet, he felt a growing desire to understand her, not just scientifically, but personally. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice quiet. "But I'd like to find out." Mia's multifaceted eyes gleamed with something Alex couldn't quite place. Amusement? Admiration? "Well," she said, stepping closer until she was just inches away, "that's a start." Alex sat on the web, his nerves finally beginning to settle as Mia circled him with a mix of curiosity and amusement. Her graceful movements, coupled with the intricate designs of her biomechanical legs, were mesmerizing. But even as his scientific mind cataloged every detail, an undercurrent of unease lingered. "So," Mia began, breaking the silence, "you've ventured into unknown territory, triggered every alarm I've set, and now you're tangled in my web. What's your next brilliant plan?" Alex chuckled nervously. "Ideally, to understand you and not get eaten in the process." Mia tilted her head, her fiery hair shimmering under the cavern's bioluminescent light. "You really think I'd eat you?" Not anymore, Alex admitted, though his voice betrayed a hint of lingering doubt. Her laughter rang out, melodic and strangely comforting. Relax, Alex Walker. If I wanted to harm you, we wouldn't be having this conversation. She stepped back slightly, giving him some space. But your presence here has complicated things. Alex frowned. Complicated how? Mia's playful demeanor faded, replaced by a more serious tone. Your kind isn't the only one interested in this planet. The energy you detected, it's tied to my people, to our technology. And it's also a beacon for something far less peaceful. Alex straightened, his scientific curiosity immediately giving way to concern. What do you mean? Mia hesitated, as if weighing how much to reveal. There are drones machines we call the Void drones. They're mindless harvesters, programmed to strip planets of resources. They detect energy signatures, and once they lock on, they won't stop until there's nothing left. Your station's scans and power emissions have likely drawn their attention. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Are you saying my team is in danger? Not yet, Mia replied. But if the Void drones find your station unprotected, it won't stand a chance. Alex's mind raced. The research station was equipped with basic defenses, but nothing capable of fending off an advanced alien threat. Then we have to warn them, he said, trying to pull himself free from the web. Mia stepped forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. Calm down, Alex. Running blindly into danger won't solve anything. He looked up at her, his frustration evident. Then what do you suggest? Sitting here while those things tear my team apart? Mia's multifaceted eyes softened. I can help, she said quietly. My people developed countermeasures against the Void drones centuries ago. But using them would expose me and my existence to your kind. That's a risk I'm not sure I'm ready to take. Alex paused, her words sinking in. He understood her hesitation. Humans had a track record of fearing what they didn't understand, and Mia's appearance alone would likely cause panic. Still, the thought of doing nothing was unbearable. What kind of countermeasures? He asked cautiously. Mia stepped back, her biomechanical legs clicking softly against the cavern floor. From a compartment in her armor, she produced a small crystalline device. It shimmered with the same ethereal light as the web. This is a harmonic disruptor, she explained. It interferes with the Void drone's navigation systems, forcing them to retreat. If you connect it to your station's power grid, it should create a protective field around your base. Alex reached for the device, but Mia held it just out of his grasp. This won't be easy, she warned. Your people will ask questions you may not be able to answer. Are you ready for that? Alex hesitated. He knew she was right. If he brought an alien artifact back to the station, it would raise suspicion. But the alternative, allowing his team to face an unstoppable threat, was unthinkable. I'll handle it, he said firmly. Mia studied him for a moment, then handed him the device. I hope you're right, Alex, she said softly, for both our sakes. As Alex prepared to leave the cavern, he turned back to Mia. Why are you helping me? He asked. Her expression was unreadable. Because, she said after a pause, I believe in what you said earlier about understanding, not judging, and maybe, just maybe, I believe in you. Their eyes met for a fleeting moment before Alex nodded and headed toward the cave's exit, the harmonic disruptor safely tucked away. Behind him, Mia lingered in the shadows, her gaze following him until he disappeared from view. For the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of hope and an ache of uncertainty about what lay ahead. Alex sprinted through the narrow tunnels of Luminara Caverns, the crystalline device Mia had given him secure in his pack. Every step brought him closer to the research station and the growing danger Mia had warned him about. His mind raced, torn between the urgency of saving his team and the weight of keeping Mia's existence a secret. As he emerged into the sunlight, the familiar sight of the station greeted him, a cluster of domed buildings nestled in a valley. But the scene was far from peaceful. On the horizon, dark shapes moved like a swarm of locust void drones, advancing with mechanical precision. "Damn it," Alex muttered under his breath, quickening his pace. By the time he reached the station, the alarm klaxons were already blaring. Inside the command center, Captain Vega turned sharply as Alex burst through the doors. "Walker, where the hell have you been?" she demanded, her tone sharp but underpinned by worry. "No time to explain," Alex said, panting. He pulled the crystalline device from his pack and placed it on the table. "We need to connect this to the main power grid, now." Vega's eyes narrowed as she examined the device. "What is this? Where did you get it?" Alex hesitated. "It's a harmonic disruptor. It'll interfere with the drone's navigation systems and force them to retreat." Vega folded her arms. "And how exactly do you know that?" "There's no time for questions," Alex snapped. "Those things are almost here, and this is the only chance we've got." For a tense moment, Vega studied him, her expression unreadable. Then, with a curt nod, she turned to her team. "You heard him. Get that thing hooked up to the grid." The engineers moved quickly, following Alex's instructions as he relayed Mia's guidance. The void drones were now within visual range, their metallic bodies gleaming under the twin suns of Aurora Prime. The air hummed with the sound of their propulsion systems, a mechanical symphony of destruction. "Connection established," one of the engineers called out. The crystalline device began to glow, emitting a soft pulsing light that grew brighter with each passing second. A high-pitched hum filled the room, almost imperceptible but strangely soothing. Outside, the effect was immediate. The void drones faltered mid-flight, their formation breaking apart as if they were suddenly disoriented. "It's working," Vega muttered, her eyes glued to the monitors. Within minutes, the drones began to retreat, their mechanical bodies scattering toward the horizon. A cheer erupted in the command center, but Alex barely heard it. His mind was already back in the caverns with Mia. Later that evening, as the station's defenses stabilized, Vega confronted Alex in the lab. "All right, Walker," she said, crossing her arms. "Start talking. Where did you get that device?" Alex paused, carefully choosing his words. "I found it in the caves," he said. "The energy readings we've been tracking, they led me to some kind of advanced crystalline structure. I think it's part of an ancient alien system." Vega's expression remained skeptical. "And you didn't think to call for backup before wandering into an unknown cave system alone?" "I didn't have time," Alex countered. "I knew the void drones were a threat, and I had to act fast." Vega sighed, her frustration evident. "This isn't over, Walker. Earth Command is going to want answers. Let them ask," Alex said firmly. "Right now, the station is safe. That's what matters." That night, under the cover of darkness, Alex slipped away from the station and made his way back to Luminara Caverns. His heart pounded with anticipation as he descended into the familiar depths. "Mia?" he called softly, his voice echoing through the tunnels. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, from the shadows, Mia emerged, her silver skin glowing faintly in the bioluminescent light. "You came back," she said, her tone unreadable. "Of course I did," Alex replied, stepping closer. "You saved us." "That disruptor worked perfectly." Mia's gaze softened. "I'm glad. But you've put yourself at great risk. Your people will start asking questions, and you'll have to lie to protect me." Alex smiled faintly. "I think I'm getting pretty good at that." Mia chuckled, though there was a hint of sadness in her laughter. "You're remarkable, Alex Walker, but this isn't over. The void drones will return eventually, and your station's presence will only attract more attention. Then we'll deal with it," Alex said firmly. "Together." Mia studied him for a long moment before nodding. "Together," she echoed, a flicker of hope in her multifaceted eyes. As they stood in the glowing depths of the caverns, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. He didn't have all the answers, but he knew one thing for certain. This connection, this partnership was worth fighting for. The next morning, Alex awoke to the faint hum of energy coursing through the Luminara Caverns, a comforting reminder of the bond he had forged with Mia. The events of the past day still weighed on him, the encounter with the Void drones, the questions from Captain Vega, and the risks of keeping Mia a secret. Yet, for the first time in years, he felt a sense of clarity. Mia stood at the edge of the chamber, her fiery red hair catching the soft light of the crystals. She was focused on an intricate web she had been weaving, its silken strands glowing faintly. As Alex approached, she turned, her multifaceted eyes softening. "You didn't sleep much," he observed. "I've been preparing," she replied, gesturing to the web. "The Void drones are relentless. If they come back, we'll need more than just a disruptor. My people have technologies that could help, but..." She trailed off, her expression conflicted. "But what?" Alex asked gently. Mia hesitated, her gaze dropping to the web. "Sharing those technologies would reveal too much about my kind. It would change everything, your world and mine." Alex stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Mia, we don't have to solve everything today. One step at a time." She looked up at him, her lips curving into a faint smile. "You humans always say that, don't you? One step at a time." "It works," he replied with a grin. Later that day, Alex returned to the research station to find Captain Vega waiting for him. Her expression was a mix of curiosity and frustration. "Walker," she began, "Earth Command is sending an investigative team. They'll be here in a week. They want answers about the Void drones and that device you found." Alex's stomach tightened. "A week isn't much time." "No, it's not," Vega said, her tone softening. "But whatever you're hiding, I suggest you figure out how to handle it." "They'll dig deep." Alex nodded, his mind already racing. The investigation would complicate everything, but it also presented an opportunity, a chance to control the narrative and protect Mia's existence. That evening, he returned to the caverns, the weight of his decision pressing on him. Mia listened quietly as he explained the situation, her expression unreadable. "So they're coming," she said finally. "What will you do?" "I'll show them the crystals," Alex said. The harmonic disruptor could be framed as a natural phenomena, a discovery tied to the unique properties of this place. Mia raised an eyebrow. "And if they don't believe you?" "They will," Alex said firmly. "I'll make sure of it." Mia's gaze softened, a flicker of admiration in her multifaceted eyes. "You're willing to risk everything for this?" Alex smiled. "I've already decided. This is worth it." Over the next week, Alex and Mia worked tirelessly to prepare the caverns. They carefully crafted a story that would satisfy the investigators without exposing Mia or her people. The outer chambers were transformed into a convincing research facility, complete with harmonic resonance experiments and fabricated data. When the investigative team from Terran Alliance Command arrived, Alex greeted them with a mix of confidence and nervous energy. Dr. Simmons, the lead investigator, was known for his sharp mind and even sharper skepticism. "You've made quite the impression, Walker," Simmons said as they toured the caverns. "Your research has the potential to revolutionize our understanding of alien ecosystems." "That's the goal," Alex replied, maintaining his facade. "These crystals have remarkable properties. The harmonic resonance could have applications in energy production, communications, even defense." Simmons studied him closely. "And this disruptor you claim to have built completely from these crystals?" Alex nodded. "Yes, the unique energy signatures here allowed me to develop the prototype." Simmons frowned but said nothing more. By the end of the tour, the team seemed satisfied, though Alex knew the scrutiny wouldn't end there. That night, back in the safety of the caverns, Alex and Mia shared a quiet moment amidst the glowing crystals. The investigation was over, but their journey was just beginning. "They bought it," Alex said with a relieved sigh. "At least for now." Mia nodded, her expression thoughtful. "But this won't be the last time they come looking. The more your people learn, the harder it will be to hide." "I know," Alex said, "but we'll face it together." She smiled, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the light of the crystals. Together. As they stood side by side, Alex felt a sense of purpose unlike anything he had ever known. His life had taken an unexpected turn, one that had led him to the most extraordinary discovery of his career and his heart. In the depths of Aurora Prime, beneath a sky of glowing crystals, a human and an alien forged a bond that defied fear, prejudice, and the boundaries of their worlds. Together, they would chart a new path, one step at a time,